Morning folks, this is Todd with Survival Sherpa. Wanted to come in my shop today and do a little hobo stove. I saw this morning a post by my friend Joshua Shuttleworth over at the 7Ps blog that I really liked. He even has a video on it, but and I commented on his post in our Doing the Stuff network over on Facebook, and I commented that what we used to call those stoves when I was growing up, being raised by my dad who was a plumber, we called them plumber stoves. I've got an old plumber stove right here that I built, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. I've used it some. I haven't used it probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years since I built it. Well, let's take that back, probably 5 years. Anyway, so it's just a small little paint can that I took and stuffed cotton in there. And got a piece of another can here that I just cut out and strapped around here with a band here, a hose clamp. Set that aside for now and show you what we're doing today as far as a modified plumber stove. Now, all you need here is 2 cans, a larger gallon-sized paint can, and then a quart size. You're going to need some, the higher proof of the 99% alcohol, rubbing alcohol or isopropyl. You're going to need a roll of toilet tissue, and that's it. Now, the one modification that I really like, or the idea that Joshua had, is with the Pathfinder Bush Pot, which I've just gotten this. I've only used it a couple of times with my grandson Max, and we didn't even use the stove cooker. We just used this as over the tripod. Hung it and boiled water in that. So this fits perfectly over this ring, over the inside lid here. Perfect. Once we get everything set up, I'll show you how it works. But you can sit there and cook, boil water, whatever, off of this stove if you have one of these. If you don't, not a problem. You still can set it up to cook. See if we can't fish this thing out of there. And that is the cardboard, the inner cardboard. There it comes. Perfect. Sure. So this is going to be a pretty tight fit. Dirt Road Girl likes to buy the big rolls. And it's not going to fit in there. So I'm going to have to do some modifications here. I guess I'm going to pull this off, or we could cut this down to size. Little by little. It's like tearing a phone book in half. You can do it page by page. You got to have a different strategy if you're going to do the whole book. All right, that looks like it might fit. I'm going to give that a try. It's going to be tight, but we're going to get it in there. Just open that back up. So that's a can full of Charmin tissue, toilet tissue. So there it is, stuffed in there. That's about the length. This is one of those big rolls, but that's about the width of the roll that I took off to get it in this quart-size can. Now we're going to take this alcohol and we want to pour it into our can here to where it will absorb into the tissue. Let that wick in. There we go. All right, we've got ignition. Okay, so we'll take our Pathfinder stove bottom, put it right over the top here. I'm digging that. Anyway, we're going to start the clock back up as soon as I set it on there and just see how she goes. And we're starting back. You probably can't see this, but anyway, it's running. And we're out again. Okay, instead of, I hated to punch a hole in this tin right here, this container basically. So what I did is I took an old stainless bowl. I got it at a yard sale for 25 cents. I got 2 or 3 of these, and I turned it, put it down in the bottom of this bucket, and set the fuel can on top of it. It sets pretty stable there. So instead of punching a hole in a perfectly good container, we're going to see if this allows it to cook better. All right, so the clock is back on. What I did is I offset this bush pot just a little to either side, and it seems to, you know, open up some holes and ventilation. I'm thinking that it'll probably boil a lot faster now. Starting to hear it boil. Roll. It's not boiling yet, but it's bubbling up the sides and the bottom. And right now we're just over 20 minutes, and of course I forgot to turn this off when I was readjusting in here, so it was probably about 15 minutes, I'm guessing. Alright, I've got 23 minus about 5, 17 minutes maybe on boil. I'm thinking that if it was lifted up, maybe on my cook tripod, where we could get flames coming all the way around it, then it would speed up the boil time. So we've got a good foot of flame coming over, maybe 16 inches coming out of this thing. So I'm thinking that with this hung over it on a tripod or suspension system, we'll get a quicker boil time. I'll dump that water. We'll go test it outside. To extinguish this pot, we'll just slide the lid on. We're done. We're outside now. We got it set up on a tripod, so it's not touching the actual cook surface. It's just maybe a 1/4 inch above it, and we are starting now. This is just water out of the hose out here by the garden. We'll time it and see how long that takes. I'll get a lid on that pot. Okay, we got a boil about a minute ago. It's 18 on my clock here, so it's about the same either way. When I had it setting directly on the lid, or suspending it about a 1/2 inch above the pot. Of course, we're out in the wind right here. Inside, it may have boiled a little quicker where the wind wasn't blowing the flame off. But I'm liking the way the flames are coming up through the bush pot cooker stove, and just giving more even spread on the flames on the bottom of that pan or the bush pot. So
18, 17 minutes on this thing with 64 ounces of water. Not the best, but it will work.
I'm going to close up our lids here. So tap it down. We'll put that in here. Put that in top there. So everything folds or stacks and nests inside of each other there. Even throw a lighter inside there, so you've got a ready to go hobo stove. Keep doing the stuff Self-Reliance, guys. Talk to you next time.